Human activity is abusing the planet. At the start of the 19th century, the world had a population of 1 billion. 1 century later, in 1900, it had risen to 2 billion. By 1960, the world's population weighed in at 3 billion, and in the 40 years between then and the year 2000, it had doubled to 6 billion. To say that the world is overpopulated would be an understatement. Poverty, climate change, animal abuse, these are all issues that can be traced back to the world's unstable, still growing population figures. As the population of the world increases, so does the demand for resources such as food, water, and energy. As a result of this, at least 70% of Earth's natural land has been directly altered, mostly for growing plants and creating space to use animals as livestock. Beef alone is responsible for more greenhouse gas emissions than any other animal product. When cows are farmed on an industrial scale, they cause as much, if not more, environmental pollution as cars. Due to mass breeding, not just for meat, but as a result of the dairy industry as well, the horrifically cramped and unstable living conditions they are subjected to, and as a result of this, the mismanagement of waste, industrially farmed cows greatly affect the environment. Animal agriculture also plays a huge part in water pollution, with fertiliser runoff polluting many nearby freshwater sources across the UK. Farms discharge large quantities of agrochemicals, organic matter, drug residues, sediments, and saline drainage into water bodies, and agricultural pollution has become the major factor in the degradation of inland and coastal waters. Cows and their manure release methane emissions which have a direct effect on the climate and directly contribute to climate change. Behind carbon dioxide, methane is the most significant greenhouse gas, and as well as being directly responsible for the warming of the planet, methane upon leaving the atmosphere leaves behind carbon dioxide. Methane emissions don't just come from industrialized farming, but also from a variety of other sources, many human-influenced, including coal mining, landfills, oil and natural gas systems, wastewater treatment, industrial processes, and natural wetlands. Considering these causes collectively alongside industrialized farming, we can establish that over half of the world's methane emissions derive from human activity, specifically 50 to 65%. And calling back to farming, when we consider just how many cows are bred for dairy alone, the methane emissions attributed to the dairy industry is shameful to say the least. To give a clearer idea, there are currently approximately 1.9 million dairy cows in the UK, and an average cow produces around 81.5 pounds of waste every day. With both of these rough figures in mind, the implication of what can only be an enormous total figure should speak for itself. And to speak to anyone who may assume that this is inherently a problem with cows, and therefore thinking humans using them is inconsequential, if cows were left to graze and coexist in the wild, not only would their numbers gradually decrease to a more natural figure, but they would spread across great distances, and their waste could simply fertilise the land with no harm attached. But with such huge figures in population in mind, and with the world in need of a solution, what options does humanity have? There has been numerous attempts at trying to combat this issue. Some scientists suggested cutting down on beef consumption and replacing that with chicken, which presents its own set of problems. Some scientists are looking into alternative compounds of cow feed that may produce less methane. In a 2018 experiment, some results showed that adding seaweed to a cow's diet may reduce their methane production by as much as half. But rather than endorsing unnatural attempts at trying to add seaweed to cows' diets, maybe a much more simpler solution could be for the world to just stop eating cows. Opting for a plant-based diet is among the most impactful ways a person can help our planet, greatly reducing environmental footprint and helping to replenish the Earth's natural resources, and of course reducing and advocating against the mistreatment, abuse and death of animals in farming. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and please like and subscribe to receive more from TLS World.